It's 29 degrees in Jacksonville, Florida. It's 10 in Dundee, and our 3 listeners in New Zealand, 3, that's not too bad. They're experiencing a mild 17 degrees. This is Teal Talk. I'm Jay Lawrence. He's Kee. Oh, no, wait, let me do that again. I'm Jay Lawrence, no relation. Oh, I forgot to do that, Kee. He's Kee Ramsuran, and this is the official podcast for the Jacksonville Jaguars in UK and Ireland. You okay, Kee? How are you? You all right?
I'm excellent, and I like it being expanded to now global weather reports.
We need to make this bigger. I'm looking forward to doing South Africa next time. Now, look, we are joined on this episode from Duval County by Jaguars defensive lineman Travon Walker. First round pick by the Jaguars, of course, in 2022. We get the big question from UK Jags fan Francis, and look ahead to this week's home game with the Vikings off the back of another narrow defeat again, Kee. We don't need to focus on that. Let's look forward. Let's look forward to the Minnesota Vikings. And you know what, actually? It's quite interesting talking about the Vikings, I think, this season, because who would have thought that this could be considered one of the tougher games on the Jaguars' schedule, Kee?
I mean, going in at the start of the season, certainly not. I looked at this stretch and thought, yeah, Packers could be tricky, Eagles tricky, Lions tricky. Yeah, wouldn't have put the Vikings up there as one of those necessarily, but 6-2, dude, they're performing well. It'll be nice to see Cam Robinson playing again as well.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. I think as well.
Dude, he went there and got game ball. Are you kidding? Cam, What happened when you were with us?
I think that what we need to focus on when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings has got to be this star wide receiver. I mean, we could talk about Sam Darnold and how this is like hopefully a fairy tale story from his perspective, but their star wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, is going to be difficult. I mean, not just for the Jaguars, but any team to stop him. Yeah,
whoever gets that assignment has got a tough day ahead of them, man, because that guy can play. Oh, my goodness, he's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a tight games for the Jaguars in the last few weeks as well, Kee.
Yeah.
Really, again, like I said last week, if this was the first game of the season against the Eagles, I'd be saying, look at all the positives. But it's not the first game of the season. But there were some positives to take from that, I suppose. But at the end of the day, it didn't happen then. But you need to build on that for the Vikings.
So here's my positive that I'm taking from that Eagles game, Jay, is that the tush push or the tush push, I've heard it both ways, may now becoming a thing of the past because the Jags have shown how to stop that. And thank goodness we will never have to hear that phrase again, hopefully.
Can I say how amazing that is, though, really, in a team that the Jaguars have had issues, well, really throughout the whole team at points this season. But the one thing that has been consistent over the last few years in the NFL has been that tush-push play. Jalen Hurts getting that touchdown with ease every single time. And the 2024 Jaguars, they are the team that not just stopped it once, Kee, they stopped it multiple times. They stopped Jalen Hurts multiple times on 4th down.
Yeah, so on Jaguars.com, it's broken down to show how they did it. So my hope is that moving forwards, we hear the phrase tush push less and less and less and less. And brotherly shove as well. Oh get out.
Well, what about one player who definitely had an impactful play in that last game and we'll be looking to build on that in this next game? Travon Walker, Kee.
Oh, that was how special was that? And, it was like right on the line as to whether it was a fumble or not. Ventrell Miller just got enough of his body out of the way to make it a legit fumble. But Travon taking that back into the house, that was really, really good. Yeah.
Well, let's hear from him now, shall we? Kee's conversation with the former number 1 overall pick, Travon Walker.
Travon, thank you so much for joining us on Teal Talk. First things first, let's not dwell on Sunday's result, but can we talk about that amazing moment for you taking the ball into the house? How was that, man?
Man, in the moment, it was one of those things to where in the moment it wasn't as exciting as it was once I got to the sideline and actually felt the energy from my teammates as well. But just in that moment, it was one of those plays to where as a defensive player, you see the ball on the ground, and at that moment, my instant instinct goes to pick the ball up, and in that moment, my mind just went to go score. Obviously, I scored, and then they ruled it a touchdown. So once I got to the sideline, that's when I really felt the energy.
Nice, man. It was a beautiful moment. Dude, how does it feel balancing the emotions of that amazing personal moment for you with a team loss? Is that hard to balance?
For sure, most definitely for me, it's hard to balance. Just for the simple fact of obviously, I want to help my team. I want to do anything to help my team win by any circumstances. But that's one of those moments, as in first career touchdown, as being selfish just in a split second. But then again, also you don't get to be
Mm.
able to have the full effect of it because of the loss. As if you would have won, you would have probably been. I would have felt it a lot more.
Yeah, I feel that, man. Yeah, I get that. When we spoke to you in the summer, one of the things you said to us was that like one of your personal goals is to get better and better each day. And watching you on the field from the outside, that's what it feels like. Does it feel like that to you as well, that that's what you're achieving?
I do feel it that sometimes, but sometimes I do feel like I can be a lot better in certain situations. But yeah, like you said, for me personally, I do want to get better 1% every day, and I can't see that transition happening for me from my first snap in the NFL to my latest snap.
Yeah, amazing. A part of that was like again, one win, one loss in the UK, but you had some fantastic personal moments there. What was it like for you playing those two back-to-back games over here this season?
Man, like always, just coming to London and being able to get a change of scenery from Jacksonville, things of that nature, and being able to feel the culture out there as far as sports. Obviously, football, American football is still growing over there. And that's
Mhm.
just one of those ones that in that moment you really don't take advantage of the opportunity or the environment that you're playing in. But that's one of those ones. Once you look back, you'll be like, man, that was really a great environment to be a part of.
Fantastic. Well, give me some of your like a couple of personal highlights from this year's trip.
I'd say one of my main ones. Uh, Obviously, I want to say this the sack against the Patriots just because of the moment that it came in. I felt
Yeah.
like that was very big for the team, and in any situation like that, like I said, I'm just trying to help my team come out with a win, and that's one of the ones that sticks out to me the most as of right now. And then for the last 3 years that I've been on a part of the Jaguars, it's just always been the aura of the crowd, the fans showing
Mm.
love. It's always an exciting feeling running out on the field out there.
Was one of the highlights not getting food from Sushi Samba with Josh?
Sushi Summer, that definitely was a highlight as well. But that's more so of Josh Forte. I like Sushi
Yeah.
Summer. It's just Josh probably enjoyed it a lot more than I did.
Nice, nice. So last year, I was at Wembley chatting to your parents in the crowd. Did you bring anyone over with you this year?
My mom and dad, they're always with me. As long as they don't have anything else going on with the grandkids or anything of that nature, then they always right there by my side. So that was with me again as well.
Nice. And how is it performing in front of your parents? What's that like? Do you feel pressure when you're doing that, or does it feel like it gives you a boost?
So crazy thing is when I was younger, I never really had a choice. So when I was younger
Mm.
going to practice, I always kind of felt nervous because my mom and dad's always watching. But as I grew up and grew older, got to like middle school once we started having closed practice. But even when they were at practices when I was younger, I just felt like I had a chip on my shoulder to not go out here and embarrass my parents, embarrass myself. I just always wanted to be the best player I could be because I knew my parents was right down the sideline watching. I didn't want them to have to hear any feedback from any other parents talking trash or whatever. So that just kind of
Yeah.
help mold me into the player that I am today. And I just go out there and that's who I do it for my parents, my nieces, and my sisters.
That's beautiful, man. I love that. I love that. So when you're over in the UK, that for some reason on this podcast, even though it's an NFL podcast, we seem to talk about food an awful lot. So when you're over here in the UK, is there any food that you miss from the States that you wish we had over here?
Um, I mean, I wish there was a American Deli everywhere in the world. I'm not sure if you heard of American Deli. It's kind of a southern thing. It's in Georgia. One
Yeah,
from
nice.
The wings there are crazy. I'm a big wings guy, so that's probably one of the restaurants that I would kind of say I would want to see in London. But one
Travon,
restaurant,
how many wings can you get through in one sitting?
it just depends on it just depends on what when am I eating it. So after a game, I maybe could go for like 20. I can do 20 easily, but like if I'm really
Bro.
hungry, then I probably could do up to like 30, 35.
30 to 35 wings. Let's go
Yeah,
for
I'm a
wings
flat guy.
next time you're over here, man. Vikings coming up. How are you feeling about that as a team? How's preparation going, and et cetera, et cetera?
Me personally, I'm feeling great. This is one of the ones. This is just where our back is against the wall, and we just have to rise to the occasion as a team. We know
Mm,
the obstacles that we face coming into like as far as coming out of these last couple of losses, and what we want to get forward to close to the end of the season because the season is going by pretty fast. It's already week 10, and
yeah,
yeah, we like me personally. I just feel like us as a team, we all know the intent to where we want to be at the end of the season. And I still don't feel like it's out of our reach at all. We just have to go out and dominate every week, take it one game at a time.
that's it, man. That's it, 100%. Are you surprised by the Vikings' form at all? Because at the beginning of the season, I don't think I would have thought they'd be 6-2 and one of the biggest threats in the NFC.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm surprised at all, just for the simple fact that it's the NFL. Any team can be great at any moment. Like you say, it's the NFL. All of the guys out here are professional athletes, so I
Mm.
wouldn't call anyone sorry or not capable of doing their job. It's just the fact of being consistent and putting it all together as a team. And I feel like that's what they've done pretty good for most of the season.
Dude, well, thank you so much for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. And as always, we'll be rooting for you on Sunday. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you all. You all have a good one.
Travon Walker and Kee Ramsuran. Great guy, Kee. Great player, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. And has the voice of 1,000 silky chocolate bars.
Do you know what? It's a dream of my life for you to describe my voice that way. Maybe that says a lot. That you've
I was
never
actually
ever said that
talking
to
about
me.
your excellent radio voice earlier.
All right. Okay, so we've heard from Travon Walker. Time for Duval Dispatches. Now, the NFL, we mentioned this actually last week, didn't we, Kee? The NFL has launched its International Fan of the Year competition. So if you think that you qualify, make sure you get yourself onto NFL.com to register. What makes you the best international Jags fan? What makes you the best international Jags fan, Kee?
I'm mixed race, so I am from all over the world, so I am by default international, and I am a Jags fan.
Fantastic stuff there from Kee Ramsuran. Head over to NFL.com to have a look, see, and register if you think that you qualify to become the best international Jags fan.
You must learn not to put me on the spot, Jay.
Okay, Kee, we have a show on Sky Sports NFL, don't we?
We certainly do. This week, the bit I'm looking forward to the most, we have all the usual stuff. So we're going to have highlights of the Eagles game. JP and Reese are going to break it down. Tony Baselli's going to look forward to the Vikings game. But the highlight for me is Reese sits down with Josh Hines Allen. And Josh has been on the show a few times before. And so him and Reese have a lovely relationship. And I'd written all these insightful questions. And it just ends up being just like this two bros having a chat in the end, and it's really nice to watch. So tune in for that this Wednesday.
So if you want to see a nice bromance, is that what you're saying?
It's so lovely, their relationship. It's really nice. Yeah.
What's it called? Where is it? When is it?
It is called Jaguars Weekly UK, and it is on this Wednesday at 9 p.m. and then it will be repeated throughout the week with all of the bits then put up on the Jaguars UK YouTube channel. In fact, there's loads of original content going up on the Jags UK YouTube channel this week as well.
Okay, time for the big question. Okay, every single week on Teal Talk, we bring a fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars from the UK and Ireland in to give us the big question. This time around, hello to Francis Sweeney. Francis, what is the big question?
So obviously you two go to a lot of the Jags events, meet a lot of the players. What's your coolest story you've got of any of the players?
Okay, this is where I think that I should pass to Kee, because I feel like Kee is gonna have better ones than I do.
Okay. The coolest story that I have about any of the players, I am not allowed to tell on this podcast. But I will say, Ross Matasic on the tour when we were in Dublin trying to split the G on a pint of Guinness and having to go through several pints of Guinness just because his level of competition was that high that he had to get it right was
Oh my
very
goodness.
entertaining.
How many
Very
times did he
entertaining.
try, and was he successful?
I don't think I should say how many times he tried, but yes, he was successful. But I don't think it was down to skill at the end.
When I went to Dublin recently, I was there with someone who he doesn't even like Guinness, and he bought a Guinness just to try and split the G, and failed, and then just didn't drink the rest. €10.
Amazing.
Um,
Absolutely amazing.
I think that I swear that most of your stories actually revolve around Guinness. I swear, Key, because I think that you said before that you've been having a nice few Guinnesses with coaches from the Jacksonville Jaguars before.
I did. I had a pint of Guinness with Coach Heath Farwell, which was he's such a lovely man, absolutely lovely man. And yes, there was a lot of splitting the G involved
Oh, splitting the
as
G.
well. I won't say how many attempts were made.
So essentially, we can get the impression here that Key's favourite stories to tell about Jags players just revolve Guinness. Just always around Guinness.
Or can't be told on the podcast.
Or can't be told on the podcast.
Let's not forget that element. Yeah.
I don't think that I don't have anywhere near as good stories, to be honest with you. I think that I think it's just nice to be able to meet the players. And actually, what the best thing actually about meeting the players is those moments before and after you interview them, because as much as you can have a really natural, fun conversation on camera, when they're off camera, they're just guys. They're just guys,
Yeah.
And that's why it's quite nice, because you get to like really just get their opinion on whatever, or just have a conversation and just realize, yeah, okay, these guys get paid a lot. They play a sport that we adore, but at the end of the day, we're quite similar in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
100%. Shall I tell you one that was really human, right? Which was
Do it.
it was on the player tour, and everyone was on a bus, and I think it was from London to Bristol, and everyone's, listening to music or watching a film on their phone or whatever. Apart from one person, I looked over. Foye Aluakan was studying the playbook, and I thought that right there sums up who that guy is. His ethos, his work ethic, everything. I just thought, man, he's so dedicated to what he does for a living. I thought that was phenomenal seeing him do that.
I love that. Francis, tell us. Well, first of all, if you're not watching on YouTube, get over to YouTube, because Francis is decked out in Jags gear. Tell us how you became a Jags fan.
Just by watching NFL, and then I went to a couple of Jag events with my son. I managed to do the tour that he was just talking about, and then I was lucky enough to go to an open practice last year as well. And we've just been hooked, because the Jags, it's not just the players that are really nice, but we've managed to meet a lot of the people who work for the Jags as well, and they've all been really friendly, really polite. So I met Kee last year at one of the events. He was really polite, with Reese as well. They were really cool and talking to us, all the fans. And JP as well, he's a lovely guy. He's lovely. He talks to everyone. He walks around the pub, and he loves a pint or two. And then just the players as well. When we meet the players, like, they're all so amazing. Like Josh Allen, one of the nicest, coolest people you could ever meet in your life. And he signs everything. And it's Lacey, I always get his name wrong. He's such a cool, nice guy for such a big bloke. So friendly.
Now, do you just carry around all your Jags gear with you, mate? Did you have to get, especially going? Because I hear you were at work, so presumably this isn't your work gear today.
No, so I was at work, and I said to the missus, Keith texted me, can I go on the podcast? I said, I can't go on it. I ain't got no Jag stuff with me. So should we organise to meet halfway? So I've gone to go get it, and I've had to make sure my signed jersey behind me, so I've got to show them off, because I'm lucky enough to have a few of them. And then I've got a signed ball behind me, and then obviously the chain goes everywhere. If I go out and I'm going to anything Jags, I've got to go to a pub with my son, my oldest, in Leeds. We're going up there to go meet him and his missus to go watch some games up there at the end of the month. And I've told them this is how I'm going to the pub. Because people need to know that I'm a Jags fan.
every time I see you out and about, it's you and your family, and you're
Yeah,
all dripping in
yeah.
Jags, and you always look amazing.
So you're wearing that, you've got that chain, you've got your jersey on, you've got 3 jerseys behind you. What do they, so tell me what the signed jerseys are behind you. Which one's like your favorite as well?
I've got to say Josh Allen just because I wanted to get his jersey signed just because he's such a nice guy. And I was lucky enough to get Trevor Lawrence to sign that one of the
Oh,
jerseys.
amazing.
And he signed a Funko Pop for us as well,
Oh,
which is
nice.
really cool. We've hidden that away at home. And we got Carl Walker. We went to the signing as well. He was really cool. And I've got a signed card of his as well. And obviously, I got the signed ball that is just decked out when I went to open practice and
Oh,
the
wicked.
signings as well. So that's a prized possession. My wife told me I can't decorate the house until and convert my front room into a Jag shrine. But
Oh,
yeah, it might happen.
I think it's got to happen. Do you know what though? I always love signed stuff, especially like that signed ball, because you will have that like forever. Do you know what I
Oh
mean? Like,
yeah, 100%. Like when I bought my son the Funko Pops, he collects them. I managed to get the Trevor Lawrence one, and I was like, I've got to go to open practice with you again. Such a good time. And I was hoping that he'd come over and I was going to start shouting at him. But he did come over and he signed everyone's stuff, and I was like, please sign this. So now that's like, it's just everything's treasured in our house because they sign it, but it's a family thing. Like we do it together. Like we all go out. The oldest will freeze down as well. We all go out and do stuff. So it's just a good family day out, really.
oh, that's
That's so
amazing.
nice, dude. So, do you all watch the games together as well as a family?
100%. So if my oldest isn't working, he lives in Leeds and he'll watch the games and he'd be texting us during the games. And then my wife, she doesn't watch any sport, by the way. She religiously, on a Sunday, we sit down, we've got the red zone on, we've got the Jags game on, and we just sit there and watch it. And then,
That
we just
warms
sit
my
there.
heart. That is
Yeah.
so nice. I mean, that is just like a proper family activity. And that's kind of why it's so nice when you can have the Jags be that almost like bond between, I mean, obviously your family anyway, but you know what I mean? Like they're creating family time.
Oh,
Mm.
definitely. It's the family time. But it's not that. When we've gone, my wife couldn't come to the first signing one, but she come the second one with Josh Allen and Carl Walker was there and Fred Taylor. But obviously, I know a lot of people in the Jack scene, and they were chatting to her and stuff. And then she was enjoying being in the queue for 3 hours, like waiting to go get it signed. But obviously, I've made a lot of friends through the Jags as well. I think you've had Jamie on the cast and other people as well. And I've got a WhatsApp
Yeah.
group of people. And like, if I don't understand a certain play that's happened, I message them and they're replying back. Or if I want to buy something, I'm like, oh, is this card okay? Is this good? And they're quite happy to communicate with us. It's proper nice family atmosphere. And I can't wait till next year to go meet up with them lot more than meeting the players again.
Oh, I love that. Isn't that nice, Key? Isn't that nice?
Dude,
I love that
that's
community.
so. But that's what it feels like when there's watch parties or when there's the signing events or open practice. That's what it feels like because you're seeing a lot of the same faces and you're having chats and like catching up and yeah, that's what being a Jags fan in the UK is about to me. It's like seeing all the same people and it feels like you're meeting mates that you haven't seen for a while because we're all from all over the country and then these events help us all catch up. It's really lovely, man.
Um,
Oh, yeah,
we need
definitely.
to we need to talk about the next game, Francis, against the Minnesota Vikings. We get a fan every single week to give us their prediction. So this is your job this time. Um, Guests have got 3 right out of the lot. Okay, I'm on 4. Key is on 2. So you are representing the
Because
the
I'm
guests, the
loyal.
fans.
Because I'm loyal.
What's your predictions for this the score, please, for the Jags Vikings game?
32, and I think they've struggled to go for 15 points. If the
Who
defense
will?
turns up, the Vikings, we're going to score 30. Because
Oh,
when Trevor Lawrence has got time in the skyrocket, he's unbelievable. He can throw that ball.
Dude, I love
that
it.
is confident. I love it. I love it.
So 32-15 you're going.
Yeah.
Dude.
32-15. That is confidence. Nothing wrong with confidence, Francis. Thank you so much for being on Teal Talk today.
No, it's thanks for having me.
Thank you very much to Francis Key. Lovely man, lovely chain.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everyone wants to be said about them, isn't it? Lovely man, lovely chain.
Lovely man, lovely chain. And very confident, obviously, about the game against the Vikings this weekend. I did mention, actually, that the tally so far, the rankings, I'm on 4, fans are on 3, Kee is way at the bottom at 2. I say way at the bottom, it's not actually that far off. What I do need to mention, though, Kee, is that you predicted last week there would be 300 plus rushing yards, okay, between the two teams. Yep. The final tally between both of them, 297.
Yeah. So, what I said about the tush push earlier, I might take that back now.
Oh my goodness.
3 yards off, man.
If the Eagles got both those tush pushes,
yeah,
you'd have got both of that, wouldn't you?
Or if the Jags maybe got more than 60-something yards, would have been my other way. Yeah. That would have been my preference. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to our predictions then. Kee, you can go first. Jacksonville Jaguars, Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, Jay. Oh. I'm gonna stay loyal. I'm gonna go Jags win. I'm going to go 24-21. And I'm going to go BTJ one-handed catch. Spectacular one-handed catch.
Okay.
Over to you.
Do you know what would be good about that, actually? Is there's been a whole host of amazing catches in the NFL over the last couple of weeks. Why can't BTJ get involved in that?
No, exactly.
Let's go with, and last week how I wasn't I felt guilty because I said the Eagles would win, and obviously the Eagles did win. I wasn't happy about it, but the Eagles did win.
I feel more confident, fluttering throughout.
I feel more confident that the Jags can pull an upset in this game than they could against the Eagles. Because let's face it, that first half against the Eagles wasn't good. So I'm going to say a cool 21-18 victory. Let's go with a walk-off touchdown because they nearly had it last week against the Eagles.
They did.
Let's turn it all around and let's make sure that the Jags can get it this time.
Oh, dude, I really like that. So all three have predicted Jags.
Confident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel more confident. Feel more confident than I did last week. I wasn't feeling overly confident last week, but this week I'm feeling confident.
Have you slept better this week, Jay? Is that what it is?
That's what it is. I'm just in a better mood, to be honest. Yeah. I'm just in a better mood. I actually will not be watching the game live because I'm going to be in the US next week for this game.
Oh, lovely. What for?
But not in Jacksonville. I'm going to Louisiana next week. So I won't be able to watch the game, but I will be watching it. I'll be watching it shortly after.
They don't have TVs over there, do they?
No, I'm going to it. I've been asked to. I'm going to a Saints game. I've been invited to a Saints game, Kee, which is nice. Ahead of the Super Bowl, you see, ahead of the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go over there. And then,
are you trying to scout some tickets for the Super Bowl, Jay? Is that what's happening?
If it happens, it happens.
Okay. I see. I'm on to you. Okay.
Maybe Jacksonville will be there.
Yes, maybe.
Hopefully. Yeah. I did actually hear Tony Vaselli on the commentary the other day. He was saying there's less than a 1% chance that the Jaguars might be in the playoffs. Tony, I love it. It was just like, well, there's still a chance.
Yeah.
That's what I want to think,
Tony says some fun stuff on the show this week.
That's what I want to think. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Good. And do we get, before we say goodbye, do we get a positive note from you like we did last week?
No, because honestly, at the end of the Eagles game, I thought, do you know what? If I was Jay, I'd be really mean about what I said at the end of last week's podcast. So no, I'm in my heart, I feel hopeful, but there will be no speech. There will be nothing on record.
There needs to be a speech. I enjoyed that speech. There needs to be more speeches. Next week, Kee, I anticipate a speech no matter what happens in this Vikings game.
I'll put it this way. It's still mathematically possible.
There we go. That's
There you
well.
go.
No one has ever felt inspired by the phrase "mathematically possible," have they? I don't think it's the most inspiring of phrases. All right, thank you very much, Kee. We'll be back next week, won't we? This has been a Shooting Shark production for Jacksonville Jaguars, UK and Ireland. Go subscribe if you're listening. Go subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, go subscribe on your podcast. It would be lovely. We'll see you next week.